Mithrilhawks are a secret organization of adventurers and agents whose principal aim is to prevent an alien invasion by the race of beings known as the Chuthules, a humanoid cephalopod race of psionic squid-like conquerors who enslave worlds. The Mithrilhawks were formed by Xavier Waverider to prevent this ongoing threat and help keep the civilizations of Earthal in balance through the 5 ages. Our intrepid adventurers are Sundu Thunderglade, a third-aged Fey-elf druid sent forward in time to the 4th age of Earthal to determine the best place for his tribe to store the Tui Stone, a relic of unimaginable power, used to destroy one of the moons in the apocalyptic battle between dragons and giants at the end of the 2nd Age. He is horned, green-skinned with bioluminescent markings, and can transform into a giant teleporting tiger-like being of immense strength and agility. Played by Kurt. Lachlan Winshear, a half-elf rogue artificer wizard mercenary from the 4th Age of Earthal, who was orphaned and taken in and trained by the Mithrilhawks. He relishes in unique magic items, creating them and running a small mercenary band that supports the Mithrilhawks intelligence network. He serves as the guide to this unlikely and very secretive trio, played by Redfoot. And John Loyal Chambers, a Special Forces operative from the very human 5th Age of Earthal, who operates in a special access program called the Jumpgate Project, run by General Hawk. He was sent back in time to the 4th Age to determine the whereabouts of the Tui Stone and report back so the Jumpgate Project could locate it and use it to defeat the invading cephalopods of the Chuthule race. He has a religious experience during this time travel jump and becomes a paladin for Columbia Mithrael, the female elven deity of justice and healing, played by Tennant. Each of our adventurers are guided by their age's version of Xavier Waverider, and each have their own mission. Will they work together to accomplish their specific missions, or will they face something even more daunting and challenging, discovering untold secrets that they had never suspected and challenging them to their very cores? Find out in the Mithrilhawks' search for the Tui Stone. In this episode, our intrepid adventurers journey from the gates of the Mithrilhawk School at the beginning of the 4th Age to the borders of Guan Shu, whereupon they meet an ancient elemental force of Earthal's past, and when they arrive at the Guan Shu border, their reception is not what they expected. And we return with our intrepid adventurers, Lachlan Winshear, Sundu Thunderglade, and loyal John Chambers. We are in the lands of Earthal, and our adventurers have just completed their simulation, whereupon they fought a variety of different monsters and learned to work with one another's skills and abilities, and they ended up dying at the hands of a horned demon. After that, their main mission right now is for them to seek out the Tui Stone, which is a stone left over from the ancient builders of the 1st Age. It was the resulting cause of the death of the 3rd moon of Earthal and the end of the 3rd Age, the age that Sundu comes from. And it was his tribe's duty, given to them by a mithril dragon, the last mithril dragon of the 3rd Age, to guard the Tui Stone and make sure that it lands in the ends of the 5th Age to be able to save humanity in the lands of Earthal. And so his tribe gave their Tui Stone that their purpose was to live and guard, and they handed it off to the Shinto of Guan Shu, who is a tribal lord who became a king essentially in the Asian lands of Earthal, which you can see here on the map. This is the central capital that controls the 4 other kingdoms, and it's comprised of 5 kingdoms. Guan Shu is that one right there. You see that? It is closest to the jump gate in the lands of the Asian realms. And Sundu, if you recall, this was the gate that you took at the end of the 3rd Age to come into this age.
And when you arrived in this age, you quickly went from this gate to the gate of the Mithrilhawks in the beginning of the Fourth Age. And so, and at the time period that you are currently in the Fourth Age, there are no kingdoms yet. The humans have not come through the gates from the various refugee planets yet, but you are training at the Mithrilhawks school, learning each other. It's been about a week and a half, 2 weeks, I would say, of time that you were here at the beginning of the age. And during that time, you did the simulation room, and you also had opportunities to learn and train about the age that you're in. We went through a montage last time of you guys doing that. Lachlan, you said you wanted to learn artificing, and that creating items and enchanting items was something that Lachlan would be interested in.
Yeah, but I was reading, out of character, I was reading about the artificer.
Yeah.
And it says I only have like a limited ability as magic, and that's not something I want.
Okay, gotcha. Well, let's just roleplay it for now, and we'll figure out the mechanics, next session, since you haven't gone up a level yet.
Yeah. So right now I'm a third level thief, first level wizard.
Okay, great. And what you're doing here in the Mithrilhawks school, if you remember, there was a gnome tinkerer who was really eager to get his hands on John Chambers' equipment, right? Mm-hmm. So it's been, a number of days now, and you guys have gone through your training lessons, and I wanted to see if you wanted to take an opportunity to go hang out with Q, maybe learn a thing or two, and maybe that's what gets your guy going on that whole path.
Yeah, I think his thought process is, he came up with the idea for that staff, and he had Q make that for him.
Right.
And now he's curious. He's like, could I imbue this thing with more powers? What could it hold? What material would it need to be able to hold more magic? And how much magic could it hold? What would be the best material? And he starts getting all these questions.
So it's safe to say,
the ultimate wizard staff.
Yeah. So it's safe to say that in the time that he's at the Mithrilhawk headquarters, the school, that he would probably sneak off to Q's quarters and ask him all these questions, like, how do you do this? How do you do that? Yeah. So that gives us a good opportunity to have your character develop in that realm and make sense in story why he would why he would become a wizard and this and that. So the first day that he shows up, he sees he walks into the room and he sees Q at his desk, which faces the door, and you come in and you see John's gun completely dismantled on the table in front of him, right? And all of the different parts, springs, all like laid out in perfect order. He took it apart and placed them all, and it's taking like an itinerary of everything that's there, right? And that's one of the times that you go there. A time later you see it like kind of put together, but you like completely wrong, and you can tell that it's completely wrong. And then the next time he's got it right, and he's got the bullets all laid out. And one of the last times you're there, you'll see that the bullets all have little colored gems in the tips.
Oh boy!
Right? That he's like fiddled with it and changed it somehow. And if you want to make a 20-sider intelligence check, I can tell you specifically what he's done.
Yeah, hold on.
And have it be an Arcana check, actually.
Okay. Okay. I see. Sorry, I'm still learning how this all works.
That's okay. If you'd like, I can do it.
No, I got it.
Okay.
A 20.
Nice.
A 16 plus 4, so 20.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So Lachlan has a 19 in dexterity and a 19 in intelligence.
Oh, perfect. So what has happened is that he took the bullets and he's put gems in them. But they're chromatic orbs. They're like permanent chromatic orb gems, right?
Whoa.
So he's taken his bullets, his 9mm bullets, and turned them into like high velocity chromatic orb bullets.
Nice.
Right. And you can tell that it's chromatic orb, and you can also tell that there are a couple that are not chromatic orb, but other spells like let's say not invisibility, but lightning bolt or fireball, so that it turns into a fireball like once it shoots out of the end of the barrel.
Wow.
So
Wicked. So
yeah.
I would probably walk up to him and, you know.
And when he sees, he quickly covers that up. Like he covers it up. He's like, not doing anything important.
I say, well, wait, no. From what I saw, it looked to me as if those little like pointy metal things. That must be the thing that comes out of the gun that Loyal was talking about. Am I right about that?
Well,
If
this
that's the
blundering
case,
blunderbuss from the future propels these tiny little metal objects at high speeds, as near as I can gather, and they generally enter into a body, and I assume that that's what destroys the body, or that it's some sort of weapon. Yes, and so I've improved upon the design a little bit, and yes. So I made him chromatic orbs.
that I like it.
He's like,
I like it, Q.
yes. I
Look,
think.
I actually came to you for a reason. I gotta ask you something.
Yes. What is it?
Well, I've been thinking a lot about the staff that I had you make.
Yes. It took a great deal of time and effort, mind you. A great deal of time and effort. Like about 3,000 gold pieces worth of time and effort. Yeah, but who's counting?
All right. What? Oh, by the way, what is the staff made of?
Oh, yeah, it's Mithril.
Oh, it's a Mithril. Okay. So, how much magical energy can this staff hold? And what would I have to do to get it to hold more?
So it holds about, 30. I would say about. I think you could use it about 5 or 6 times a day, and then at the end of the day, it just kind of recharges itself. If you wanted to increase the amount of times you could use it in a day, that would be expensive. I suppose you'd have. And he goes into the process of telling you how you would. He goes through the process of telling you how you would enchant an item to be able to have more charges in a day.
Okay. Could I add more spells to it?
He says, yes, of course, it's definitely conceivable. It's within the realm of doable. It's possible.
How hard do you think it would be for me to imbue a light spell into it that can turn on and off at will?
Oh, that would be interesting. And you could also make it so that it shines in a specific direction instead of just shining everywhere. That would,
right?
I mean, there's all.
I was kind of thinking about like a directed light beam.
Yeah, oh, yes. I really like that idea. Well, bring it back. Next time you're around. I know you guys don't have enough time for me to fiddle with it now. You'll be leaving in the next day or so. But yes, bring it back next time you come through, and I'll show you.
Here's the thing, Loyal. Here's the thing. Would you be able to show me how to do it?
Yes, and this is how you get your first level in wizardry.
Okay.
Okay. So that would justify why you're level 3 rogue and level 1 wizard. And so that process that you take with Q, that begins your journey. And he tells you that you need to find, a very high quality gem, as clear as possible. So a really clear quartz gem, and
or a diamond.
Or a diamond would work, yeah. And that he'll show you the right spells to do that with. Oh, and you also need some metal that melts really easily and comes back together very well. So, like solder,
Okay.
So, like
what
a high
kind of metal would I be able to find?
Mithril would work.
So I need some mithril, and I need a diamond.
Yeah.
Or a quartz.
Yeah. You'd need like a small amount of mithril, not even a whole lot of it.
Okay.
All right. And so,
All right.
Then Lucius comes to you and he speaks and he says, I believe that it is time for you to depart. You have had enough time for training. Your team works well together. You understand one another. Everybody has been trained into the proper etiquette and rules of this age. And so if you would all gather at the Sending Stones tomorrow on the moon, we will send you.
Sounds good. I'm sorry. I'm looking at this PDF character sheet. I'm just trying to see where my spells are. Because the other thing I would have done is I would have, because a first level wizard has a certain amount of spells,
Right.
and so I would have gone and gotten a spell book worth of those spells. So I have those as well.
Okay, great. I'm gonna trust.
Do you have the D&D Beyond sheet, or what do you have?
Yeah, I just found it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got it now.
I'm gonna go ahead and trust that you know what spells you have. I'm not gonna double check you.
Yeah.
It's fine however it rolls out. So yeah, you guys are gonna gate from here to here, and then you're gonna have to go, travel by foot essentially back through Sundu's old lands and arrive to the kingdom of Guan Shu.
Okay.
Guan Shu. Guan Shu is the name of
We
it.
don't have to walk the whole way.
What's that?
At least we don't have to walk the whole way.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the mission next year.
Yeah, that's a long trek.
How would you, if that was the United States map, what's the distance that you would use to describe it?
Yeah, that's about like California to Texas,
Okay.
right?
Of the two things we just pinged are?
Yeah, like there's
So this-
if you look at the map on the bottom left, you can see the United States comparison.
Oh, I'm sorry, I need to zoom out. I didn't even see it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, whoa, it's massive.
Yeah.
Nice to see
Yeah.
it.
So this land is actually the most akin to the United States, culturally, ethnographically, and everything.
This one.
This red one, the one that you just clicked, green, was South America essentially, and so over here you can see it's like it is a long trek. But if you remember, Sundu can transform into this tiger being, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you guys can ride on him, and he has like a teleportation ability, so you guys can cover thousands of miles, in a very short period of time, like 3 days essentially, right? Sundu, what you'll do is a series of rolls, and and then we'll base encounters on that.
Awesome.
I'm gonna use the restroom while he does those rolls.
Okay. Well, I also want to role play the actual teleportation, so go ahead. And but Sundu, you can roll if you'd like. Just
Yeah, sure. What do I roll?
what was it we
Like
had
just in the form? I've been doing
every round or whatever, like a
I did
harder.
wisdom save.
Mhm.
I think. Yeah, exactly.
But the cool thing is that
Where, my sheet are-
you can teleport line of sight, so like you can see far distances, so you can go like maybe 800 yards, 1,000 yards at a time, so you really can cover a lot of ground.
Oh, sure. That's a cool way to do it, to have it be line of sight. So the first one I aced it.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled 24.
Yeah.
Should I do another one?
Hey, do you have a way to roll it so that we see the dice roll across the screen? I think that's a cool function for everybody.
Oh yeah. Well, what I'm doing is clicking it off of the
Gotcha.
web sheet on D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
If you prefer, I can just roll the 20-sided and I'll do the math. So you want to redo on the first one here?
No, that's fine. That we'll say the first day is uneventful and you maintain it.
Okay. Cool. And so I guess after a day of travel, we'd probably set up camp somewhere.
Yes.
So what Sundu's going to do, since he hasn't really had an opportunity to use his third age wood elf racial ability to cast Entangle, he hasn't really used it yet because he's just been traveling all day.
Right.
So he uses that Entangle spell to create a bunch of vines that just oh, you're back.
Who's that?
Me.
Hey, cool.
Lachlan's back. Excellent.
All right.
So-
Before you get into that, Sundu, what we're going to do is we're going to role play with, and Loyal's going to come out and oh, Lachlan, do you tell Loyal about what Q has done to his weapons?
Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, why?
Yeah,
What it
probably
doesn't.
not.
So
I'd like to stay on Q's good side.
yeah, in this time, Loyal, that good idea. You know, when you guys come out to the gate, Loyal's already out there, and you see this, like, it's as if like the moonlight is actually shining directly on him, and he's in sort of a reverie. He's like looking up, and it almost looks like he's like like when you're speaking and you sometimes subconsciously move your hands, you know. So you can tell that he's in some kind of a discussion, and then it disappears. The light disappears as you guys enter the glade, the first ring of standing stones. And
was he like, guys, the moon is shining right on me?
yeah, exactly. And he turns to you guys and he says, "Oh, Sundu, it was actually advised to you that you actually stay in your third elf Fey age, third age Fey elf clothing, for this wing because the cultures there are still remnants of the Fey elf, right? There are legends of them, and especially in Guan Shu, I think I'm saying that right. Yeah, Guan Shu. You know, because of your tribe's closeness with them, they might actually recognize what you are. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you guys come into the center of the gate, and you know, Lachlan, you have the key, the little dial that takes you to the next gate. You just dial that one in, and at some point I'm going to design it so it's going to be like this cool little thing that we can put up in there and you can see.
Nice.
But you dial in, and again, that staticky electricity kind of takes over on the outer ring, and this palpable density is there, and you guys are in your own gravity field, and like you zoom like 15,000 miles an hour across. You're standing still again, remember? And no, there's no gravity, no friction, no anything, just normal space. And then you come to that, like a snap. You arrive at that next gate, and the gate over here is a lot smaller. The gate at the Mithrilhawks school is enough to fit like a fleet of ships in, right? Like schooners or big caravels between them. Whereas this one is more about the size, Sundu, if you remember, when you left the third age, and Tahor Mithrael was there with you. It's a much smaller glade. It's like less than a football field across. And it's got these beautiful stones, but it doesn't look anything. And you guys stop, you know, very abruptly, and like you all kind of like brace for it so you don't fall over, you know. When you get there, it's really overgrown. It's really like dilapidated. It's in the middle of the forest, but the forest has not been cared for. It's not growing with any coherence. It's just a wild tangle of forest. It's still very magical, you know, and like still has remnants of the Fey age there, but the electromagnetic field of the planet now does not support those organisms as much, and so they're dwindling. You know, their numbers are going down.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, this was set up in the home of the Thunderglade tribe, right? Or was it a neighboring?
The gate was nearby.
Nearby.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Thunderglade tribe was right there. You know, one of your other tribes was right here, and you see how this is all desert.
Yeah.
This all used to be forest.
Oh man.
Right. So
we're in the desert now, right?
You're on the edge. You're on the edge of the forest. It's overgrown and whatever. So this whole thing used to be forest, all the way down to here, right? Like just thick ass forest.
It is already worse than I thought. I knew it would hurt.
Where did Sundu originate from in his time period? Like, where was he living?
Right there.
He was at right there.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
So pretty nearby.
Yeah.
Sundu is relieved to see that there's still if he can see it all in this area, he'd be relieved to see that there's a lot of dense forestation still in his homeland. But he's like, already I can tell much has changed between the ages.
Yeah.
It is much
What
worse
do you-
than
what
I
do you-
expected.
What's changed?
This entire region, it, the climate, the entire ecosystem looks like it's been devastated.
Really?
Yeah.
What, like some kind of war?
Only time will tell.
Yeah. So what you know, Sundu, is that during the dragon and giant wars that destroyed this whole area, this was also a forest and beautiful plains and stuff. And so it was destroyed in when the moon landed. He broke the moon up and it destroyed this whole land. And the wind.
Oh, so I already knew that then.
Yeah, you knew that then. And so, but what you didn't know is that the climate, because this became a desert over here, that this all ended up becoming really dry. And so that's why the forest is good here, but all of this was, this, you like where you are is sort of high compared to like here, like topographically, it's like,
I can picture that.
yeah, so this is lower and this is higher, and you can actually see at the gate where you are, it used to be forest and everything, but you can see that, like, if you, it's almost like standing on, in Boulder, Colorado, if you could see the plains of Denver. Does that make sense? In Colorado?
Okay, sure. I couldn't tell what you were saying, but I think I see what you're saying, that it's like you're on a peak and there's like a long valley.
Yeah, and you can tell where and you
the
can
distance.
Yep, and you know that it used to be forest, but it is no longer.
Okay, cool. Well, not cool, but
Yeah. So now
this gate, it looks like it's abandoned.
I kind of quickly do a perception check for any footprints leading out, any tracks or anything.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
20.
Yeah, there has been nobody here for ages. I mean, like any of the tracks that you see are deer or other creatures that are not, you don't see any humanoid tracks or any relic or any kind of sign. In fact, the plants are growing up around the gate, and it's as if it has been exposed to the elements, and it's much more worn than for Sundu. It's much more worn than it was when you were there.
You're right. There's been nothing here.
Can I tell if it's still? I mean, we arrived at it, so it still appears to be functioning, right?
Yep.
We can use it to get out of here.
Yep.
Okay.
What were you gonna say, Redfoot?
Oh, just one second. I've got Finney in the room.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So basically, your plan. Loyal says, if we go down at a 75-degree angle or 45-degree angle, whatever this is, we should be coming up to the territory of Guan Shu. And this city here is Guan Shu. And when you were gone, Lachlan, Sundu did a roll. The first day was fine, and you guys, basically he transforms into his lion form, his large tiger form, large fey tiger, and you guys both jump on the back, Loyal up front, and you holding on, and you take off, and you guys teleport, essentially.
I'm so sorry. One second.
That's okay. And the whole first day and night, you guys find a nice place in the forest, and you start recognizing, Sundu, some of these lands. You actually recognize traits and places where your people were and went, and things that you knew about. The first day is uneventful, and you find a good place to land, like somewhere right around here, right? And you guys camp out for the night, and then the next day, Sundu recognizes, he's been here before. He recognizes it. The landscape has changed. It's less dense forest, but he recognizes it. And Sundu, you know that there is a spot basically halfway before where this river starts here, that there is a temple that your people would often go to for the winter rituals. They were sort of nomadic in that way. They would go south when it got colder up north.
Oh, okay.
And that it's you're kind of stoked about some things because your tribe up here, the people of your wood folk, large group, like I had said, like there was a number of different tribes in it.
Clan.
Yeah, the big tribe up here. They often
Yeah.
had to deal with like ogre mages, or what the Asian, ogre mages.
Yeah.
That, but they were much bigger and more dangerous, and so they were warring up there. So when you looked up here, though you saw the lands of your people destroyed, you also know that, oh, those mages must have gotten fucked too. So, and you guys would come south, when there was bad wars going on for like a couple hundred years between your peoples, everybody came south, and this was one of like the refuges, right? And it was a deep underground. It was a deep well into the underground where you guys could, raise children safely and withstand any of the big crazy storms that had happened.
Wow. Cool.
Nice.
So like an underground town, city?
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
And it had this really nice entrance. And if you guys want to camp there, that would be a great idea.
Hell yeah. It's abandoned now, or what?
Well, to the best of your knowledge, yes.
Okay, let's go back. Yeah. Sounds like a dungeon.
It's abandoned, everybody.
So yeah, you guys come to this glade, which used to be a thing, but now is completely covered over. And it's like, maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
So this used to be a base of some kind?
Base is a understatement. This was a sanctuary of my people. We used it as a sanctuary, and it felt like a summer home as well. But the security and the secrecy was parallel to none. This was the most defendable position that we had in a lush, fertile rainforest as well. But I can't even imagine what has happened to the interior of it now. So Sundu's feeling like a great loss. He has a feeling that the whole time being in this in the fourth age is going to be like devastation after devastation of like, whoa, well, this isn't around it anymore.
Right.
So he's just struggling with it.
So, do you think Sundu, are there other entrances? I mean, is the whole thing, do you think, flooded? Or do you think there might be other ways to get in that aren't flooded? Right now, by the way, Lachlan is experiencing like heavy, like want to go and explore this thing. I bet there's lots of stuff.
There were many secret entrances. I'm sure that we could find another way to get in, but I worry that much of if the main entrance looks like this, much of the structure is likely flooded.
Yeah, you're pretty clear that if this is flooded like this, the tunnel down, then the whole underground system would be also flooded.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna do a perception check.
Okay.
And I just want to see, am I sensing any kind of signs of life in or around the pond besides just like, fish and stuff? Are there signs of larger things happening?
Right, so
Possibilities of things being dragged into the water?
So over here, Sundu, you know that this was where the statue for your tribe was. Not just your clan, but your entire tribe. It was like the wood elf. It was the marker, and that usually you guys kept special messages for each other and things like that in these spots.
All right. So is the statue still there?
No, the statue is not there.
But it's still worth a check.
Oh, and what did you get on your roll there, Lachlan?
Only a 9.
Yeah, you don't see any real indication of, what could be going on there.
Okay.
Well, I wonder if I'll be able to get over there. I'll probably have to use my animal form. Yeah, I'll just do it for like one round. That's not so bad. How many feet is that? I didn't measure this one. Okay, y'all can do like a 40-foot horizontal leap, right? No problem.
So Loyal walks down here, and he's kind of looking into the water, and he puts his water skin down into the water there, and he's like, "This place is incredible."
It is quite beautiful.
He says, "Sundu, this used to be your home?"
This is one of the places that
Like my summer home.
Yeah, exactly. One of the places that my people spent their time. Many generations of our tribe were born here.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
He says it's amazing. There's so much. He says there's so much power here, and I don't know how to describe it. It's almost as if the place is filled with this peaceful being.
It would be interesting to see what power remains here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna see. Is it possible to just like hop these
From
hop
there
the way
to
around here?
onto this side here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you
It's
make
like
an
a more fun way to
acrobatics
interact
check.
with this map.
Yeah, make an acrobatics check for me.
All right,
So we're like
let's
8
see.
feet.
It's not too bad. Acrobatics is +4. A D20 look like this. Oh, why didn't it show it? Huh.
You rolled an 11, right?
Yeah, well, +4 is 15.
Oh, and it
You
didn't
have to
roll.
have the option on to show the die if you want to.
There it is, enable 3D dice. Automatically.
And did you do
roll.
the feature where you did backslash roll? Is that how you did it?
No, on the left, again on that little menu, there's one that looks like a 20-sided
Oh.
dice. That has a whole matrix that you could roll like, 4D12 if you need to.
Okay. If you could just do backslash roll space 1D whatever die you want to do plus whatever you want and do it fire.
Oh, nice. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask Sundu, where are you trying to get to?
Over on that altar there at that platform, there used to be a statue. My people would leave messages for each other. We're basically at the front door of the settlement, but I want to check for clues over here at the pedestal. I wonder where that statue went. It was a beautiful work.
It was actually of a dragon tiger, like the old Asian dragons, let's say, right? And it was completely gold and inlaid with mithril and stuff. I mean, it was just incredible.
So my immediate assumption is that people have been here and nothing got stolen.
Yeah, I think that's the sad reality, the likely situation.
Yeah, people suck. All right, so what about you, Lachlan? Where are you going? Do you guys want to set up camp over here? Lionel says, maybe we could just set up camp over here. I don't know if I can get over there.
Does it appear that, like, if I were to go over there, does it seem like I might be able to be of some use?
Well, you're interested. I mean, you're really like, I wonder what else could be over there.
Okay. And he'll be able to just jump across like this?
Yeah, I mean, you could do it too with your swinging thing. I mean, technically,
he's going this way?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you could 60 feet is what your thing can reach, and but the problem here. Okay, so let's say you come closer, right? Let's see where 60 feet gets you.
I could get onto the other side.
Yeah, but the thing is like you have to reach up higher, right? And so if you could get your thing here doesn't mean anything because that'll still drag you through the water, right? But if you shoot it up here, you know, you're up in the cliff face, and then that gets you over to here.
Right. My
Wait.
other thought is that if I were to attach it to something here. Oh, sorry. Hold on.
Like you could land here if you wanted to, swinging across from the edge of this to right over here. You could do.
I'm not seeing any of your markings.
You're not seeing the red.
I'm not seeing any of your markings.
You're not seeing the red press
No.
button.
Yeah.
I saw yours.
But I was thinking, yeah, I could definitely do the swing thing. Okay. I could definitely do the swing thing, or I could do this by.
You'd land
to
over here.
and then to here, and I can tightrope across.
Oh, you want to tightrope across it? That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or swing. Either way would work.
Well, for you to swing, you'd have to land up here. Can you see where I just drew? Okay, so if you shoot your thing over to here, it's up in the cliff. Wait, I'm still on draw. If you shoot your staff over to here, it's up higher in the cliff, and you would land over here on the ground.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that'd probably be the easiest thing then.
Okay, go ahead and
So
do.
should I roll to shoot?
Yeah, roll your attack roll with the weapon. Oh, and by the way, it does 3d6.
23.
23. You totally nail it. Now do an athletics, or I'm sorry, acrobatics for the swing.
Oof, 8.
Oh, all right. So basically, what happens is, Sundu, do you want to continue jumping around? Is that your plan?
Yeah, I'm gonna get like a running start here and go for the next one.
Okay. So acrobatics. Nice. Okay, so you do a backflip over this little waterfall here, and you land, and you're good. Okay, Redfoot, Loyal stays over here, and he's filling up his cantina. Redfoot, what you do is you hit the right spot,
Sorry.
but you didn't factor in that you didn't have, like, let's say a run, like you were just going from here across, right? And hoping that it would snag you. Well, it dragged you through the water a little bit right here. Like just right across through the water. But you then get up over here and you land right here. Okay?
Okay.
But then you hear Loyal.
My Lachlan is not feeling comfortable about creating ripples in the water.
Yeah. So Loyal is like, guys, there's something moving here.
No shit. What?
Yeah. So this is a water naga. And for those of us who do not know what a naga is, it is actually what the ancient Asians would consider to be dragons. And they are very, in the ancient cultures and in the ancient legends of the Nagas, they were very intelligent and very good. They would actually help humanity and guide them and provide wisdom for those who were worthy. Anybody who is not good, they would totally just fucking devour. So this serpent, obviously it's not, all the way out of the water here. I couldn't find a better drawing of it. I thought this was pretty dope. Curiously though, do you see a red bar above it?
Yep.
Do you see a number in that red bar?
No.
I don't see one.
Okay, good. And I see what my issue is here. Let me... so you can draw, evidently, on each of these different layers, and they'll stay based upon what layer you're on. Okay, so this thing rears its head out of the water and coils up like a serpent would, and it looks at Loyal first. Actually, it looks at Lachlan. And it looks at Lachlan, and it comes like super close, Lachlan, like, very close. Like you can feel it's breathing on you, And then it swings its big head all the way down, right here to Sundu. And it looks at you, Sundu, and it kind of tilts its head sideways. and does like a sniff in the air, like the tongue comes out, and then it kind of turns its head like like this, and goes and looks at Loyal, and it's looking at Loyal, and he's like he's holding his halberd, and he's just like, what do I do, guys? Do I kill it? Do I kill it?
Don't move, it can sense fear.
Does anybody want to respond to him?
Man.
Yeah, Lachlan definitely say that, like, just don't move. I think it can sense fear.
And then the head goes from
Do I
Loyal,
recognize this type of people?
and then comes back to Lachlan, and you hear this big draconic voice like, what is it that you come here for?
Well, my friend over here, and I kind of gestured to Sundu.
And he
is
looks
of
a
an
little
ancient
bit,
race that, I'm sorry?
and he looks, and comes back,
Oh, yeah.
and his tongue's flicking.
Is of an ancient race that used to reside here.
I am familiar with his people. Why are you here?
Me personally?
Yes. Your character's like what? Chaotic good or neutral?
Yeah. Chaotic good.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm here.
Why
because I
have
work
you
for-
disturbed my slumber?
I'm here because I work for a group that seeks to help the world, and we've come to this area seeking out, and I explained the thing about the stone to him.
Why don't you explain the thing about the stone to him, Lachlan?
I don't know if I could explain it honestly.
Okay. You
Yeah.
explain that his people, Sundu's people, were in charge of the Tui Stone, and that they had to give it to a race of humans, and he says, The humans have taken over these lands. I remember when your people ruled Sundu Thunderglade. And you didn't say your name. You guys didn't say your name.
Oh, you recognized me.
Yeah.
but I didn't. Huh.
And I was told that you would come here. It is the Tui Stone that you seek, is it not?
Do you know where it is?
It is south, with the kingdoms of man with whom you have left it.
Apparently that was a bad move.
He says, It is unclear to me. Oh, by the way, what we did is when you arrived at the gate, you saw plants growing and things coming and going, and you could tell you went forward a couple hundred years in time. Okay? And you guys were told in the very beginning that you were going to the first emperor of Guan Shu, right? And that this is probably like the grandson or great grandson of the guys that your tribe gave it to. Okay,
Right.
so only
I
like
guess I'll ask if Naga is the Guan Shu dynasty still ruling south of here?
yes, but the kingdoms to their west have found corruption already. I fear it is the curse of man to destroy themselves in ignorance. And he, every time he says an S.
I shoot a dirty look at Loyal.
And he's like, "What? Come on, guys! Like, I don't know any of this stuff. I'm protecting my country and my world."
I deeply bow before the Naga and say, your input has been invaluable. The longevity of your species offers me a unique window into seeing what has happened across the ages. I'm grateful for your perspective.
And he takes his big head and he turns and goes back to Loyal, and he flicks, and the tongue is like really close, and Loyal's like looking at you guys holding his halberd, and he's like, you sure? And the Naga says, I am Zizu, and my people have been here longer than
elf. And he says, but you are not from this time or place. Your people have not yet come to this land. What is your name? John Chambers. And Loyal's like, you just asked me my name, and that's my name. And he says, who is it that you serve? And why are you here? And Loyal says, he says, well, I am here on behalf of General Hawk. And he says, no, the real reason that you are here, the reason that has spoken to you in your journeys to this land and to these times. And Loyal kind of looks at you guys, and he's like, what do you mean? He's like, I can tell you know what I mean. He's like, and he kind of like looks down and looks at you guys again. He says, I serve Columbia Mithrael. And he grasps his medallion under his, like on the top of his plate mail, and he says, and the Naga says, this is good. Do not forget this, and do not forget the real reason why you are here. And he turns back, and his head lumbers, and it goes across the like maybe like a foot off the water, but really like fast, and the whole body moves, and he lands back in front of you, Lachlan, and he says, you, Lachlan Windshear, you have many trials and tribulations ahead of you. One can only hope on behalf of all Earthal that you live up to it. And he turns his head back to Sundu, and he says, your respect is seen and granted. The respect and understanding that you have provided is good, and you should remember your place in these ages and in these times. We will see each other again in another time and another place. You may stay here in my grove and in my home for the night, but do not enter my waters and do not disturb me again. And he kind of pauses in case anybody has a question or wants to talk to him.
Lachlan was like, sorry, disturbing your water thing is my fault.
And he looks, and he looks.
When we go back across.
Yeah, and he looks at you. You know, like his head turns and kind of looks at you unamused. And then Loyal says, "I have a question, Your Highness, Excellency, Sir Dazoo." And the head lumbers across and comes right back in his face, and he says, "What is it?" And he says, "How do you know these things about me and the others?" And he says, and his head goes up and looks up into the sky, and he starts sliding back into the water, and he says, "I am Earthal," and he dunks underneath the water.
Whoa.
Oh, the music just hit at the right time. That's perfect.
Epic.
I can't hear the music.
I'll bring it up a little bit more.
Oh, it's under settings. There's a master volume.
Are you talking to me?
It's the first or the second thing under settings, right after display name.
Yeah.
Master, I've got it to the max.
I've got it to the max as well. I had the actual track lowered less than half because it was pretty loud. So, so Dazoo goes back underwater, and you guys are still like where you're located. You can see Loyal like looking at you guys like, and he mouths like, "Fuck."
So, is my character familiar with? You said, what is it? Columbia
Mithrael. Yeah.
Does that mean anything to my character, or is that like?
Yeah. So Mithrael is like this world's version of Lothlorien, like the highest first elf, first being that sang existence into being, you know, and sang all of these other beings into existence, and they all sung this most beautiful symphony in wonderful harmony, and you know, is the song of harmony. It's basically like the song of justice and the song of truth and beauty and harmony. and it's a feminine elf deity.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah. And just as an interesting anecdote, the United States was actually going to be called Columbia in its origination, based on the Columbia goddess that became Lady Liberty. So we'll throw a little bit of that in there. So yeah, you guys are still here, and you haven't quite gotten to your little spot over here. You guys were disturbed by Dazoo, or you disturbed Dazoo.
Well, so I guess I should still go up and check the spot, but I kind of feel like we already got a pretty good scoop straight from the Naga's mouth.
Right.
But I'm still going to go over and check the altar.
Okay, Loyal's staying over here, and he kind of backs up away from the water. He's filled up his water bottle. He's like, I'm good.
Loyal, how about you start setting up camp?
Yeah, so that's what he does, and he makes a camp over here. Okay.
What, do we have to roll anything if we want to try to find anything interesting over here?
Yeah, investigation would be a good one.
What was that?
Investigation.
Investigation.
Investigation. Oh, okay.
I just got a 17 on that.
Cool. So the stone where you guys would put your messages under is actually...
15.
What did you get, a 19?
I got a 15.
Okay. Wait, Lachlan got an 11 plus... Okay, got you. The stone still works. And you open it, and you find a gem and a scroll.
Cool.
And the scroll is actually not paper. It's made out of finely, like almost an atom thick mithril. Right?
Oh.
Yeah, and it's engraved, and it's the way your people would leave long-term records for one another. How's the music now? Is it too loud?
It's a little loud.
It just sounds like you're listening. It's in another room of your house.
How about now? Oh, because
That's
Sundu, you have headphones on. That's why.
Oh, God, that's why.
So
there's a gem, you said?
Yeah, it's a purple gem.
Okay. Is it, like, how big is it?
It would be about the size of your thumbnail.
I'm gonna drop the, so something touches, again, the gem that's already mounted in his crown thing that he's wearing. And the little amethyst kind of energetic visor thing pops up over his eyes.
Yeah.
And he's gonna like try to investigate it to see if he can tell if it's like an enchanted gem, if it has any special properties, or if it's just like a nice gem.
It's the same kind of gem in your helmet.
Oh, cool, perfect.
Okay, and it's basically like a replacement. Roll a no, you would know this. If it is mounted into a headpiece, it provides that airtight kind of energetic force field.
Awesome.
Right. So it's basically like a second of your gem.
Cool.
If you
Like
had a
fair
helmet or
deal.
something you put it on, or a headband, it would do the same kind of thing. So,
Wicked.
Lachlan, you see that and you're like, I would guess that you're pretty intrigued by it.
Yeah. Well, I think I would immediately make the connection that it's the same kind that he wears. What I've seen him do with that thing so far is that visor, and I've seen him make his fire sword with it. And I'm like, what's that?
He tosses it to you, flicks it like a coin, and says, I'm sure you could make use of this in your studies.
I'm kind of like flabbergasted. I'm like, Sundu, thank you.
But the way I see it, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Sundu, but it's sort of like it's like these are so common to you that it's like nothing, right? And you kind of just like toss it over your shoulder at him, while you're
Right.
more interested in seeing what's in the
Well,
scroll.
Kind of like I'm
What's that, guys?
already kind of set up with the technology,
Right.
you know, and I know it's something that he's starting to look into, like how do I imbue different magic into different things.
Right.
So I'm like, you know, I'm not here to like play with these artifacts.
Yeah.
You know, I'm here on a mission, but this could help you in our mission.
Yep.
Um,
Okay, so it's good while he's gone. What you read in there basically says Sundu, and it's remember how in the very beginning you had a female that was sort of like you guys were deciding who was going to do this,
oh, right.
right? It's from her, and it says clearly you are the better elf for the job, and you know her, and you know that's the way she wrote that is like, you know, sort of like a little bit of like you know, we all know that you're the best. You know what I'm saying? It's like she's a little bit like, you know, screw you, you got the job, I didn't. You know, and it says this does not mean that I'm out of the mission or that I'm not. How did she put it? She says we all know that you were the better elf for the job, and that's why you got it. She's like, but I will not be ignored or abandoned. And she says in that, and that's it. But I will not be ignored or abandoned. She says, this is too important to be left up to you alone.
I kind of look around, see if she's like hanging out.
and you hear Loyal like what's going on over there, guys? You guys good? I got the camp set.
While he's kind of reading that, I take the gem and kind of place it to my head.
Nothing happens. Loyal's like, what are you doing, Lachlan?
Like, Sunday, will you show me how to use this?
It will require some attunement. I do not know all of the functionings of those artifacts, but I'll tell you what I know.
Okay.
Basically, you need to have it mounted onto a headpiece, like either a headband, a crown, or a helmet.
All right.
And so that you understand
Meanwhile,
what it's like, and in game mechanics, what it does. You know, the Mandalorian, how he can see footprints and stuff like that. Like you see through the spectrum, you can see more magic, so you can tell what's magical. It's basically like you have the ability to detect magic. You have thermal imaging, and you can tell footprints and this and that, and some other cool things that we'll get into later.
okay.
But that it needs to be mounted, and once it's mounted on a headpiece of some sort, then you can, like he said, tap it, and it'll like Star-Lord in
Exactly.
you know what I mean? It goes like it just appears, but it's not a metal faceplate. It's like a space age sort of.
Yeah, it's like a crystalline
Yeah.
force field. So it has like a crystally structure, but it's not like a solid chunk of rock in front of your face. You know?
Correct. It's like what's her name in you guys remember Captain Marvel in the very beginning when like the Kree soldiers would, and it would be like almost a purple or a green like force field.
Yeah.
It looks like that.
Nice. Okay. Awesome.
All right.
Well, I'm going to put that away for safekeeping so I can get myself some kind of headband as soon as possible.
Yeah. And so
so I guess we head back to camp.
yeah, now the question is how are you going to get there, and are you going to, you know, just jump over these things again? Lachlan, you don't have any high cliff over here on the left side. Oh, actually, I suppose you could go to right here if you wanted to try that again.
I don't think I want to mess with the Naga. I'll probably just... This seems like the easiest path.
You could also go up around this way, too. Okay, you guys want to roll your athletics? Or acrobatics, I mean?
Yeah.
And it's easy, you know.
I'm just rolling 2d20 plus 4, or plus 4 because it's, you know, 2 different rolls, right?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, so you both...
Oh, they added them together. Oh,
No.
I guess let me do them separately.
No, it's okay. You just did one. We're not taking that. We're taking the last roll. You rolled 2, and we're just gonna. It is a 10 to pass. So you guys, I don't want to bring the Naga back. It was so impactful the way it is. I mean, I don't want to, you know.
Call it a mulligan.
Yeah, exactly.
Pops back out. What the fuck did I just tell you?
Yes, like I
Yeah.
fucking told you.
Surely at this point you would know, like, yeah, it's probably those dumbasses trying to get out of here.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're back over on this side, and we're setting up camp.
Yeah.
Sundu uses a entangle spell
Oh,
to make a
I
bunch
also. So sorry. I would have asked you, Sundu, before we left. Could I keep that mithril sheet paper as well?
We shall see.
Okay.
It may serve some other purpose, but
All right.
if we'll see if there's anything more to it.
Fair enough.
So you guys camp the night without any problems. No, nothing really comes to this place because if it does, it usually gets eaten.
Right.
So instead, what happens is, let's do this. So can you see the map? And what do you
Yep.
what do you see?
I see us standing at the top part of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy in the middle, and there's a bunch of soldiers down the other side.
Yeah, there is a bridge in the middle, right? And
Yeah, right in the middle.
yeah, and it's a very very deep chasm, and a huge river, like very very far below.
Okay.
And it's the northern border of Guan Shu. You have arrived at the northern border of Guan Shu after 2 days' travel from the Nagas, from Dzu's lair. So you guys are on the northern edge of the cliff between, the wildlands and Guan Shu. And as you said, you see on the other side 2 soldiers on either side of the gate, and you see a number of archers, 3 archers between, around them.
So how long of a cliff is this? How deep of a drop?
Very. You can't really see the bottom too well. It's got a mist around it, but it's at least a couple hundred, like maybe 20 stories. It's a really sharp ravine with a river down at the bottom of it.
All right. So I kind of walk over to the bridge, and I kind of take a couple steps. Is it all guys on the other side?
It is, yeah. And you see all the archers raise their arrows and they say, "I," in like a language that you don't recognize, but in your ear. Remember, you guys have those babblefish, basically, like the little bugs that translate for you, and you hear in his same voice, "Halt!
Hello.
Who are you, and why are you here?"
How are you? Very beautiful day today.
Why do you come to Guan Shu?
Is there someone in particular we're searching for, or are we? I mean, this is a secret mission. Is there some name that we would want to drop or anything?
The Shinto, yes, the Shinto. His name is. Give me 1 second. Let me look at it real quick. I have it loaded.
And is this a name that I would feel comfortable dropping, or that I would want to hide?
Yeah, you're not really like. If anybody has business with the Shinto, it's like, well, why the hell should he speak with you? We have to take you in now, and, we'll take you there under armed duress, basically.
All right. Then I say, just passing through, really. Wanted to check out your beautiful city. I hear it's gorgeous.
You're gonna have to roll a bluff check.
Okay.
Or a persuasion. Shinto Ji, that's his name. Shinto Ji.
Okay.
And Loyal, you hear Loyal, and he's like, guys,
13.
And he says, guys, I don't know that this is gonna work. And Sundu, you doing anything?
Yeah, Sundu's gonna step forward and say,
Are you stepping onto the bridge?
I'm
actually, no. I'll stand right here to, like, get right up to the edge of the cliff and yell at them and say, I'm one of the ancestral peoples of the forest elves who used to dwell here. It is my birthright to enter. You shall give me passage.
All right, you roll a 20-sider on persuasion.
And meanwhile, I'm kind of very slowly walking on this bridge and just kind of testing to see the danger level. Like, how much further onto this bridge can I get before I feel like if I cross this line, I'm going to get killed?
Okay.
Not very persuasive.
Do you have?
Yeah, sure, you're a forest elf, buddy.
Oh man. And so this guy right here, he yells up.
Can't see anything you're doing.
This guy right here.
Oh, okay.
He yells up into this guy, and I guess you can understand. He says, "He looks like one of the ancestors." And then this guy, he says, "This is the guy who was talking." And as you, Lachlan, you said you're stepping forward on the bridge to see how, like, just to test it.
Just kind of testing to see, like, I feel like, oh, this is where I want to stop.
Okay, yeah, you can tell the bridge is sound. This guy,
not about that, about them shooting me.
yeah, this guy raises his sword to like at you, and you know, like, very dramatically, like, "I said halt," you know. And this guy,
Sorry.
if you guys want to do a perception check for me, I can tell you what their emotions are.
Same roll for me. I got a 18.
And a 14 over here.
You got an 18 and a 14. Okay, so you can tell that the head guard, he seems very adamant, like, that you guys are just trouble, and he doesn't want to have anything to do with you. This guy down here, he can see you, Sundu, and he's like, you know, he looks like amazed, right? And then the other two archers, this guy kind of is like not sure what to do. He's really looking at you pretty hardcore, Sundu. And then but this guy looks pretty adamant, like, you shall not pass.
How much do I know about these guys' culture?
Well, through the montage of training, you recognize that the Guan Shu people are much like Sundu's people in that.
I'm so sorry. Mr. Say goodnight to the kids. I'll be right back. I have a plan.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, this is tricky, man. You know, sometimes I like to just run into a room and start swinging, but, you know, half the time it's like, you got to back up and say, like, whoa, wait. Like, do we need to kill these guys? Like, if we had attacked that Naga, it would have been a whole different encounter.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, this whole adventure is going to be about, do we fight or do we not fight, right? Like, you would have to take out all 5 of these guys before they could get away, even if they are on your side, you know, like, because you're supposed to go see Shintoji, and, you know, these are his people. Right?
Totally.
So, you know, what happens? Do you guys get captured? Do you fight your way through? There's no right answer, you know?
Yeah. Well, we'll see. All I know is ready to roll initiative.
Alright.
Yeah.
So, hold on, just looking up. Alright. I am, if I know anything about the culture, then I am saying, like, when I heard this dude say what he said, I'm going to say he is one of the ancestors who you disrespect him by not allowing him passage into your lands. And I'll roll persuasion.
Okay. Yeah, and then Loyal stands up. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, I gotta figure out whether the Babblefish allows you to speak their language too, or if you can just hear what they say. Now, you know what? You got to be able to communicate, and it would really ruin game mechanics and just kind of put a damper on the whole thing.
All right, I got a 16 for persuasion.
Okay. And Loyal steps up and he says,
He just goes,
so the guy looks at you and he looked like he was about to like, okay, yeah, all right, let me at least examine this guy. And he says, we are here on a mission to ensure the safety of the Tui Stone with our guide Sundu, who we are here to guard. Oh, sorry, Sundu, I didn't mean to move you. And the guy's like, and he looks at him, and you know, Lachlan, you're sort of elven looking. You have like, you know, at least some elven traits. So there's something,
not from elven.
Yeah, something familiar to him about you. But he looks at Loyal, and it's, you know, he sees like a very clean-cut Western European kind of dude. And so that you know, what I was going to say before you left, Lachlan, was that much like Sundu's tribe, where there's a large tribe of those kinds of people, those kinds of wood elves, and then clans within it, the 5 different kingdoms of the Asian...
Didn't hear what you said.
The 5 different kingdoms of the Asian kingdom are much like Sundu's tribe in the sense that they're organized in the same way. There are chiefs of each of the clans or whatever. So this was part of the cultural training that you got. So when he sees Loyal, he says, you stay there. I will come and examine who you are and find out what your true purpose is. And he says, and he gives a command, and all of the archers have their arrows straight up at you. And he says, back off the bridge.
All right, I'll listen.
And he comes over and he says, and he's watching you, Sundu. Yeah, and that's what he wants. He's like, you come here. And he says, who are you, and state your purpose.
Sundu he says, I have already told you what I need to tell you.
And he says, why are you not standing in front of me? Why do you hide behind this creature? And he points to Loyal, and Loyal's like, whoa, wait a minute.
Oh, I was doing that because I dropped my icon
on
the wrong tile.
That happens to everyone.
No, he means to be right in the middle there.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's like, as I said, this land is my ancestral homeland, and you will give us passage.
All right, give a roll there with a +2. Because now he sees you up close, and he sees your green skin and your bioluminescent, you know, markings, and your eyes and your horns, and you know. Oh man.
Just let me do the talking.
and Loyal steps up, and he says, he's gonna do an intimidation, and I don't know what he has, his points, but I'm gonna say it's a +1.
Well, he's a paladin, so his charisma's probably good. It's their spellcasting trait.
Yes, that's right, and he had a very high charisma, so yeah, okay, so, and then he says, he's like, I am no creature. I am the hand of Columbia Mithrael, and this is Sundu Thunderglade of the Thunderglade clan of the Elves of the Third Age, and he is here on a mission holier than your understanding, guard of the gates of Guan Shu. And he says, you will take us, or guide us, or give us safe passage, and let us be on our way. We mean no harm to your people or your kingdom. We are here in accordance with their supporting them. And the guard looks at him and looks at you. Why don't you try persuasion? And is your persuasion and intimidation both -1, Sundu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, charisma was not a big stat for me at all. So that's just how they roll.
Yeah, Lachlan, do you want to try to aid him? Do you want to add a roll to him? Because
Yeah,
you guys
sure.
have got him like right there. You know, if you do a good roll, it's like you can contribute it to his roll and increase its effect.
Oh, natural one.
Oh,
You're
man.
like, yeah, let us in, homie.
I'm like, dude, just come on.
So
Okay.
Sundu. Brutal.
So what do you want to do, Sundu?
Sundu busts up, produce flame, cantrip, and he says, "As my companion told you," he's not actually attacking with his own.
Mhm.
But he says, "As my companion stated, we wish you no harm. But if that is what you wish, we can make arrangements."
And all right. Let me see. What did I give these guys? Okay. Where do you guys hit points? I don't have them in here. Can you quickly?
Mine is 30.
Do you remember what Loyal's was?
I think he had a lot. He had
He
60.
got a ton.
He had 60.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know what his stats are. I wish I had his character sheet. I'm just gonna flub them, right, and just kind of make it to the story. If you guys can add your hit points in there and then roll initiative, you guys will have like a surprise attack.
How do you add your hit points?
When you click on your character,
I got it.
it's a red. Put it in the red number thing.
Yeah, done.
Okay. So
Initiative.
yeah, Loyal actually, he mutters under his breath. He's like, "Oh fuck this," and then what he does is he says, "Run across," and what he does is he attacks and he adds his strength and hits with his halberd on the soldier right in front of you here, and knocks him off the bridge with the strength of his attack, and this guy falls to his doom. Yeah.
I kind of want to try something
And
that could end up being cool.
and he says attack to Sundu and Loyal, or to Sundu and Lachlan. So yeah.
So I rolled an 18 for initiative.
You rolled an 18.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me what you get, Sundu.
It didn't make the noise. I don't think it rolled. Let me click it again. Oh, I gotta click it here. There we go. 19.
Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4. A 9 goes to you. Got a what did you get, Sundu? A 19. Cool. The guard got a 9. The archer 1 got a 17. The archer, okay, the guard got a 9. The other archer got a 4, and the third archer got we'll say he got the 4, and the other one got the 13. Okay. So if you look here, this is archer 1, archer 2, and archer 3. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. Sorry, I missed those.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so this is Archer 1, this is Archer 2, and this is Archer 3.
Archer 3.
Archer 3 was the one who was like, oh, you are, what you said you are. And this is the guard. Okay? And when you guys have an immediate action, you guys went first, so Loyal, then Lachlan, or no, Loyal, then Sundu, then Lachlan, and then they go. So, Sundu, you're next.
Okay, I think I'm gonna sprint forward. If I get 30, can you move me up 30 feet?
Right onto the middle of the bridge.
Yeah, perfect.
That's where you want to go?
Yeah. I'm trying to look up a spell here. It's always the way. Not that. That's not ranged enough. That's
So
yeah. I don't think I can hit him with anything from here.
okay, Loyal he actually had a higher initiative roll than you guys. He jumped in front of you and
Okay.
he knocked the guy off, took his place, and started running. He's like, attack! So he's leading the attack.
All right.
So do you have anything you want to do, Sundew?
Well, I mean, I would love to be able to throw that. What was it called? That produce flame.
Yeah.
But I think it's only a 10-foot range, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So that's not going to really work. Let me look at it again. Sorry, I should know my spells better.
Oh, I've never used a wizard before, so it's gonna be brand new for me too.
Oh, 30 feet. It's got a range of 30 feet.
That's cool. So you would be able to hit, and Lachlan, you would be able to reach across with your.
Yeah, totally.
So 30 feet. I'm going to say you can hit the guard.
All right, here goes.
You can hit the archer.
And I'm trying to hit the archer number 1.
This guy.
Yeah.
Okay. And you did. You definitely hit him, and you definitely did 6 points of damage.
Awesome.
Do you see it? You said you see a red bar above him?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you see it shrinking?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Nice.
Great. That works. Yay. And what happened to our music? All right. So next in line is Lachlan. Loyal is actually well. He's got his halberd. He didn't bust out his crossbow.
All right, so doing a quick kind of intelligence check that's smarter than the person playing Lachlan to see how this is going to work. But my idea is this. I was going to grapple guard 1. Oh, sorry, wrong thing here. I'm going to grapple guard 1. And then I am going to...
That's archer 1. This is guard 1.
Oh, sorry, archer 1. And then I'm going to leap off, pulling him and trying to use that as a swing to swing under this thing and up. And to try to get like a pendulum swing so I can get over to this side.
Where? What
like
side?
Up here.
Click on it. I can't see your click.
Oh, sorry. Like right there.
So, what would happen with that sort of, because of the angle, right?
Uh-huh.
He would come out around this way, and you would come out around this way.
And I'd get stuck, right?
Well,
Okay.
no. I mean, you could hit him, or you could jump from there to here. Do you know what I mean? But like because of this steep angle, you'd have a hard time.
Right. Okay.
I would say it would take a challenge level 18 for you to pull it off.
So my other thought is, if I could somehow catch enough air, I could cast Featherfall and like float myself to the other side. If I've like got enough directional speed to do it.
Oh yeah. You could attack that guy with him, with your wand. Pull him in, that way into the pit, while you did that and featherfalled across to right here, because this is lower than this, right? By like 10 feet or 8 feet.
All right. Let's do that then.
Then that will take a 16, I will say.
Let's go for it.
All right. You have to attack him and have a successful attack, and then roll a 16 acrobatics.
Ooh, 8 for the attack.
Ooh, and that does not hit.
All right.
Cool idea, though. All right, next in line is the guard, and he takes a swipe at this at the bridge, and he cuts this wire.
Ooh.
Okay, so I'm gonna need Loyal and Sundu to make a dexterity saving throw.
All right, it's on. Nice.
Definitely.
Not so nice.
Not so nice. So he loses his grip. Sundu, you could grab him. Lachlan, you could shoot your thing at him and grapple him.
Which side is he falling off of?
This side.
Yeah, I would have to grab him.
Yeah, you guys can both have a free action of trying to save him.
All right, so you take yours first, because if you save him, it's better than if I grapple's doing that.
Right.
I roll acrobatics to kind of like grab him, but also like use the force of him falling to like whip him around.
Yeah.
Come on.
You got him.
Not bad.
Yeah, you
Nice.
grabbed him and you swing him up, like you use the force of him and swing him back up around. So now he is behind you here, but holding on to the rope. Right? Just like you are.
Yeah.
But you're kind of
Perfect.
like holding the rope like this. Might be
We're
Tiger.
both holding it overhead.
Basically. Well, kind of like sideways, like the
Oh, sideways. Okay, I can picture that.
you know what I mean? The bridge has sort of gone askew. The one rope that like went across and like on either side, this one fell, so the whole thing kind of tipped like this. You know, you can kind of walk across, but you have to like do like that. You know what I'm saying? Hand over hand.
Yeah.
This is looking dire. Lachlan. Oh wait, no, we've got the other archers. So now we've got Archer 1 takes a shot. And misses. And Archer 2 takes a shot. And misses. Oh, no, he does hit. All right. And he hits, Archer 2 actually hits Loyal. So Loyal takes a couple points of damage. All right, cool. And then Archer 3 doesn't actually do anything. He's just watching, and he just saw Sundu save Loyal's life, and he's actually just like kind of scared and holding his bow. All right, top of the thing is Loyal's turn, and Loyal rolls athletics. And he's just barely holding on, but he's not able to get ahead of you, Sundu. It's your turn. Lachlan, or Sundu, it's your turn.
So he wasn't able to move on his turn?
No, he's barely holding on for dear life on the bridge. But he's behind you.
Can I feel like I have to get him off the bridge.
Well, if you get across to the other side and stop, because this guy he is going to go and try to cut the other side of the bridge on his next round. I'm just going to tell you.
Right, I assumed that. But so what I could do on my turn now is either.
Oh, you know what Loyal does is he recognizes that that's
30
what he would do. So Loyal actually wraps his hand like in Indiana Jones. Remember in like Raiders of the Lost Ark in like the first one where they cut the bridge?
Okay.
He's wrapping his hand in the bridge.
That was in Temple of Doom, I think.
Temple of Doom, thank you.
Actually.
All right, well, I'll let him figure that out then. And I'm just gonna sprint forward with kind of like a
Yeah,
and he flashes out the
glove and the sword.
burst of flame scimitar out of his hand and gives this guy a mighty swipe with it.
All right, cool.
Gotta find that shit. Flame blade. Not an awesome roll.
A 14 hits. And you did 14 damage?
Oh, that's great. I don't know why it I don't know why it did 46. I thought it was only 3d6 damage. I think that's an error. Here we go. 3d6. So it only does 10.
Okay. I thought it rolled and it did. You rolled a flame blade and now you did it again, and it rolled 3d6 this time, not
well,
46.
I just re-rolled the damage because no, I just re-rolled 3d6 for the damage because for some reason it rolled 4d6 damage last time, and that's not accurate.
That's
it's only
okay.
supposed to do 3d6.
I would like to leave it that
All
way
right.
and leave it up to the gods because I do not want Loyal dead.
Okay.
So you have maybe it's Columbia Mithrael stepping in and putting an extra die in there for some reason.
An inspiration dice. There's a bard somewhere.
Yeah, right. So you swipe him. You prevent him from cutting the other side of this bridge here, and he falls backwards. He's not dead yet, but he's kind of like really wounded. Lachlan, it is your turn.
All right.
Keep in mind, this guy did not fire. Archer 3.
Yep.
But Archer 2 did, and he missed.
All right, I'm just testing something here. Hold on. All right. I am casting. Yep. I'm casting sleep over here
Oh, nice.
on this guy,
Yeah.
and it will actually, range-wise, will affect all three of these guys, but not actually get
Sundew.
Sundew.
All right,
Sundew
cool.
is just out of range.
So these guys have to make saving throws?
Yeah, so hold on, let me look it back up. 5d8 is how many hit points of creatures the spell can affect, so I can roll 5d8, but I imagine I can get those three. Starting with the creature that has the lowest current hit points, each creature affected by this spell falls unconscious until the spell ends. They only fall asleep for a minute, but it's enough for us to safely get across.
Okay.
So yeah, saving throws.
And what's their target number that they need to get? Because I can tell you two of them don't, but one of them does. Well, one gets a 50.
It doesn't say. Oh,
It'll-
subtract each creature's hit points from the total before moving on to the creature with the next lowest hit points. Oh, okay.
Do they get a save?
I don't think they do. There's nothing that it says anything about a save.
It would be right in the top, I think.
Okay, so you get this guy, and you get Guard 1 and Archer 2, but Archer 3 is still awake.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, but Archer 3 is the one who hasn't attacked yet.
Yeah. So I knock both those guys out, and then get myself. You know, I can still move. How many feet can I move?
30, so you're right to about where Loyal is.
All
But
right, so I get myself to Loyal. got sure footing.
Yeah.
And then we have a minute of safety from the one archer and the guard cutting the thing to get across.
Okay, so this guy is gonna take an arrow and shoot it at Sundu because he's right up on him, and you guys seem to be well taken care of because you're not moving very fast.
His bow broke.
Yeah, and he turns to fire, and he sees his buddies all asleep, you know, because his eyes were over here at first, and then when Sundu got here, and then knocks his guy down with a really bad swipe, and then he passes out, he can't see Archer 3, so he's distracted so much that he completely fumbles his shot. Okay, then this guy's asleep. Do they make a saving throw to wake up, or how does that work?
It lasts 1 minute. They stay asleep for.
Okay, so then Archer 3, he actually kind of starts moving down this way, you know, to this even lower on the playing field.
Okay. Well, that was cool. He got smaller.
Yeah, he's kind of farther away, right? All right, so now it is your turn, Loyal. Loyal is going to walk across to here, and that's his whole turn. He can't even get 30 feet because he's, you know, tying, you know, like walking on the rope on the bridge that's like basically like fallen, you know. All right, Lachlan, your turn.
All right. I'm gonna magic missile this guard right here.
The archer.
The archer.
Mm-hmm.
And how much damage is that? How does that work again? Hold on, I need to look this one back up.
I'm pretty sure it's 1d4 plus 1.
Magic missile.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
get to shoot more than one of them. Every time you cast it, you get like 2 or 3, I think.
Oh, using this slot. Yeah, but I'm only a first level mage, so I don't think I would.
No, even at first level, I'm pretty sure. Let me pull it up.
Second level fire.
You
When
guys.
you cast this spell using a spell slot at second level or higher, the spell creates one more dart for each slot level above first.
Right, so you create 1 dart on your first level, right? Or is it 3?
Right.
No, the very first sentence, you create 3 glowing darts.
1d4
That's
plus
one
1
more.
each, yeah.
So it's 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you
3d4
can
plus
set
3.
them to different places if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those guys are sleeping. I don't want to hurt them right now. So I'm going to take out this other guy.
Nice.
Roll 3d.
I just have a question. How do you plan on resolving this? Like, if any of them survive, they're going to warn the king, and then you guys will be in big trouble. But you all are good guys, so you don't want to just like kill everybody. I mean, like the guy who's running away. Like, what are you gonna do? I'm just curious. Let's find out.
It's a tough call.
It is.
It is.
But that was the point of this adventure. It's like giving you guys tough decisions, you know, because it's going to really affect how things play out.
Yeah, we already killed one of them. It's not like we can go back on that now.
Yeah, it's almost like special ops. Like you can't leave any witnesses.
What was that?
You can't leave any witnesses. It's like a special black ops.
He attacks us, though. Yeah. At least there's a convenient place to dump the bodies in this scene.
Yeah.
Alright, I got a 5, a 4, and a 4.
Yeah, he's dead.
So I did. Alright.
And you're going to continue running across, right?
Yeah, I come across.
Okay. All right. After Lachlan, it is Sundu's turn.
And probably after this turn, they would start waking up again.
Yeah.
No, it says for a minute, so that's 10 rounds, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
But if this guard lives for another round, he could just, with an action, like, you know, shake them or slap them or something and wake them up.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he's gonna make it that far. I'm gonna just try to toss him off the cliff, I think.
The guard?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say you can just go ahead and do that, like without an attack roll, because he's asleep.
If he's asleep. Oh, well, if he's asleep, then... So this archer's awake, or the one down there is awake?
This guy's
the only
asleep.
one that's awake is down here.
This guy's asleep. This guy's awake, and he's running, but he's kind of like looking back and like trying to see what's going on.
Maybe we should let this one guy run. What do you think?
Well,
I think we need to go check things out.
yeah, Loyal starts running towards him.
Oh, shit.
I think I might just...
Well, actually, Sundu, it's your turn. Why don't you make your decision what you're going to do? And then we'll go from this one to the next scene, and we'll just lay the groundwork, and then we'll call it a night.
All right.
Because it's already 10:30.
Oh, shit.
Bless you.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm gonna run him down. Fuck it.
Who, you're going to run down? That guy? Yeah.
Yeah, can I make it that far?
Oh, yeah.
Way to-
Especially if you're a tiger.
Well, he's not. He's just in elf form right now.
Yeah.
But
I think
could, you know.
I think he'd be really impressed. All right, so Sundu, you're gonna go chase him down. I'm gonna say if you turn into a tiger, I'm gonna say you've already pounced on him. If you're just staying in elf form, you're chasing him.
Well, that's a no-brainer. I shift to tiger form and jump over.
And you pin him down, and he's staring up at you like terrified. You know, he's wetting his pants.
Just like
Yeah.
growling right in his face.
Yeah. And you can tell he is like he recognizes what you are. He knows that what you said was true at this point. All right, Redfoot, what are you doing with these sleeping guys? You're gonna just lob them off the cliff?
Well, I have an idea. I kind of want to test it at something here.
Okay.
Just give me 1 second.
Yes, sir. What do you guys think of this so far?
That's fun.
Love it, man.
Great.
I love how these maps have so much depth.
Yeah.
It really keeps it from being a two-dimensional game.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I found these.
All right.
I found these maps today, and I just kind of put all of these characters and situations together, and I felt like when I found the Naga, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be like a recurring thing, you know?
Yeah, it's too cool. I love that. Love where this is going. So he pins him down, and he goes like shrink, and this like shoots out one claw out of his paw.
Yeah.
His massive paw, and he like scratches the guy's cheek, like to leave a scar.
Yeah.
And he's like,
And I yell out, Sundu, stop!
Yeah. And you can't talk in the tiger form. Very, very like it's not like that. You know what I mean?
I say, bring him to us.
okay, so I can't. I was gonna tell him something, but if I can't do that, I'll just pick him up by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah.
And start back up the stairs.
All right. Cool.
All right. So when this guy comes back up, I know we only have a very short amount of time left to say this to him, but I'm going to say to him, you understand this is one of your ancestors and you don't want to hurt him, do you?
And he's like, no, I'm so sorry, my commander. I had to follow orders.
He's on a very important mission and he needs your help. Can we trust you?
These guys are asleep, right?
Yeah.
What do you want?
Play along and let us go.
You must.
And I guide our people, and I get us all hidden in a spot where these guys aren't going to see us, like behind them, you know, kind of in, like down here, you know.
Oh yeah, further out the map.
And what I'm going to do is, as they wake up, and I'm going to tell the guard the archer who's trusting us,
Yeah.
I'm going to say, "You killed us." And then as soon as they wake up, I cast minor illusion, so they hear.
That's good. That's actually really good. Yep, that works.
All right. So we stay hidden and
Yeah.
let them think that this guy killed us, and then I slowly get us to sneak away.
Yeah, and you guys like go further off the map somewhere, like behind some bushes or whatever, or down the road a little bit. But you stay back and sneak, and do that minor illusion of the three of you. Oh, and you cut the bridge, right?
Yeah.
So he'll say that he cut the bridge, and the three of you fell to your death, and then he becomes a hero. So all of that goes through his head, and he's like, and he goes to you, Sundu, and he bows, and he is like, "It is my deep regret that this happened to you, sir. Please accept my apologies." And he totally agrees to
We
the thing.
lost you, man.
Yeah.
He says,
We lost you, huh?
"Okay."
Yeah.
He says,
This whole little thing.
"Yeah, most honored ancestor, I am so sorry that this happened to you. I'm thank you for the opportunity to make this right between my people and I and you." Like, he's like, your mission is my mission, basically.
He goes, I understand you were not the commander of the unit. The choice to engage was not yours to make. You are forgiven. But tell anyone of what happened here before we are revealed, and you will meet the same fate as your friends.
And he says, "I am so honored. Thank you so much, sir." And you guys run off. The guys wake up, and they see the bridge falling as he cuts it right as they're waking up. And you hear
And
them.
I cast the. Oh!
Yeah. Oh, that's so perfect.
Amazing. Good thinking, man.
Very good thinking. That's awesome. That was even better than I could have. Oh, I honestly had no idea how you guys were going to get out of that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, shit. I love it when that kind of stuff happens. All right, so before you get to the city of Guan Shu, you arrive at a... Oh, and the guard says, "Go to the Golden Lotus Inn." And here's the Golden Lotus.
The first thing, I'm gonna do before we get into the city is use my deception check,
Uh-huh.
and I want to help Boyle get a disguise so he doesn't. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. We have a third age elf and a half elf that they're not used to seeing either, but they just seem to have a very negative reaction towards Boyle. So I was thinking about disguising him.
Okay.
Get him some fake ear tips.
He's an elf too.
No, that's cool.
I think that's the problem, really. Like his clothes are probably weird, but also he has like armor on and stuff now, right?
Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
So it's not like that's what's making him stand out. I think it's that he's an elf territory. You're lucky that you're a half elf. And
Okay.
Oh, so I just gotta say, these guys are not elves.
Yeah, they're humans, right?
they're
these are
humans.
humans?
Yeah, they're Asian humans.
Like they don't even know elves anymore, do they?
Well, no, they do. They have lots of elves still, but
Okay.
they don't like the Westerners.
Oh, okay.
You know.
So I'm gonna disguise Boyle, and my deception is a +3. So
Okay, so if you guys are looking at the map, it scrolls down very far, and basically where you are.
10.
Okay, fun. We'll see how that goes. And
Basically, I just give him a hood.
yeah, basically you just throw like a cloak on him.
Shoot up a little cheap pre-sap and like stick it on his ears.
Yeah, and so are you guys looking at the map?
I can't believe this map. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, this map is done by a fellow by the name of Seppuku, and he's got some Asian-based maps and some really just beautiful artwork. And anybody who's watching, I definitely recommend checking him out on Patreon. I found it for free online, because we're just starting, but eventually I'd like to be able to support these guys. So if you'll see, it's a bunch of rice paddies, lot of water. They've got the two dragon. You see the dragon heads right there on either side of you.
Yeah.
And then as you go all the way, there's a hut here, and it's basically just like a small little rice paddy village. And then down at the bottom here, if you scroll down, I don't know if you're seeing my screen or yours, but there's an inn and a tavern. And it's right outside of Guan Shu City.
Okay.
Okay?
Love it.
And I'm just leaving all the characters that are in there of to the screen. I'm not hiding them or anything like that. I'm just cut down on time and make it easy. So if you just see a bunch of villagers still working the patties. You see fireflies. It's early dusk. You guys just walked through like a path that led behind a waterfall here, and you come to this little glade. And
Awesome.
yeah, and then where we pick up next time is where you're entering in the Golden Lotus. Oh, and you see in the ponds here, besides the rice and shrimp and stuff, you see actual like lotus flowers that are coming, but they're not purple. They are golden. Like they look as though they're made of gold.
Oh wow.
Amazing.
Okay, and so if you look in here, we've got a number of interesting people, but in the center here is, let me make sure I'm on the right level. In the center here is like a little rock garden with a bonsai tree that's bigger than a person, and then some rocks, right? And then you see 3 people sitting there looking at you, and I'll describe them later. But you've got a number of people throughout the bar, all sitting at different tables, all with different stories, all with different paths, and some of whom might be helpful and some of whom might not.
Awesome.
Perfect. Well, I can't wait to pick up next week. I'm sorry we got such a late start. If I had known that we weren't gonna have Tenant here anyway, I would have tried to get on sooner. But
Yeah.
we covered a lot of ground, really. Like,
Yeah,
we
we
had
did.
2 encounters, we had a little role playing, we had a little action. There's a lot going on. Some plot, some world building, some plot stuff happening.
Yeah. Lachlan, did you hear about the Mithril scroll? What it said?
Yeah, something about like you were the better man for this job, but I'm not. Don't count me out or something.
Yeah.
Right. So that's from the kind of like not necessarily a rival from a neighboring town, but a little bit of that. She was also up for the assignment that I ended up getting of teleporting through the ages, through the gate, to try to.
She wanted the gig. She wanted to go
Exactly.
and chronicle the future. She wanted to travel into the future, and she was very ruthless and not evil, but like just she wanted what she wanted, right? And she felt like she was
Yeah.
better, but Sundu got picked.
Nice.
Well, I can't wait to travel through the ages with you guys again next week.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, for me, in the beginning of that battle, I kind of forgot that I was a wizard, and I think it made sense with my character because it's kind of new to him.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, I was like, okay, what can I do? I got to just use my like ninja skills, basically. And I was like, oh wait, I have spells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was good too. I totally thought you were going to like grapple somebody across and pull them into the chasm.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of the plan originally.
Yeah, I mean, but that's too straightforward. Like, what you did was really cool. I thought that was really, I thought it was really awesome. And, like, I fudged a little bit of the roll just because I didn't want Loyal to die off that bridge,
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think about what it was about to happen until it did, and I was like, oh, shit. Like, this could just totally
Yeah.
ruin it. But, you're
We're
saving...
trying to tell a story. We don't want to kill characters on a dumbass thing, like right at the beginning.
Yeah, but it worked out really well, like, from a cinematic standpoint. For you to capture him, and then like it's hard to attack now, but then when Redfoot did that sleep spell, that really like helped. Like he could have cut the other edge of that bridge and you guys could have been screwed.
Yeah.
Like we were riding right on the edge of disaster there.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect. So yeah, the next kind of stages are I definitely don't recommend, like, you know, I think you guys did really good in role playing and trying to be diplomatic. So stick with that. There'll be plenty of opportunities for fighting, especially humanoids, but in the Asian continent, and then you're going to be going through different time periods of this Asian continent. So you're going to run into Dezhou again, or perhaps, you know, and like you're going to maybe have to go forward and backwards. Like, we'll see how that goes, right?
Yeah.
Totally.
But your first mission is to find out what is the state of the Tui Stone, you know, 3 generations later after you've given it, because the best intel was that, you know, something happened at this age, at this time. So you're like a couple hundred years later than when the Mithrilhawks school situation was, where you guys are trained and everything, but like many thousands of years later than when you came from Sundu. All right.
All right, guys.
Totally.
That was awesome.
Anything else you guys want to go over?
I think I'm good. Yeah.
All right, then we will.
Actually, I did have a question. Just kind of like a clarification thing. I know we kind of shoot from the hip a lot with some of these abilities and things, but specifically with that that beast form that Sundu has, that's like it's like a displacer beast type of,
Yeah.
like a tiger giant thing. You know?
Yeah, it's a giant.
How often can? Is there a limit to the number of times that he can do that teleport? Is that once around? Is it like a certain number per combat session, or once every 3 rounds? How does it work?
Right. So I was actually thinking about that earlier, and I'm grateful that we didn't have to go into combat with it this time, because it would be too OP for you to be able to teleport, attack, and then teleport away, and not have an attack of opportunity or have somebody be able to attack you. You know what I'm saying? So what I would say is that like not every other round, but something to the effect like if you teleport to go attack somebody, you can't just teleport away. Then you're there, or if you're there, then you can teleport. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't do it twice in a round. You can do it like once in a round, let's say. Does that work?
Okay.
And then
once per round, then.
Yes, let's say something. We'll see how that works. Yeah, and then in terms of like. Yeah, exactly. And then in terms of like moving the story along, where like for instance we just kind of fast traveled you guys, it makes for a good mechanic for fast travel.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, and you know, less encounters unless we want to do them, because like who's gonna fuck with a 8,000-pound tiger with 2 people on its back?
2 people.
Yeah. That's a good point. I hadn't really thought of that. Thinking of my other campaign where it's like every time we set up camp, you know, someone's trying to fuck with us, but you know,
I have to kind of balance like
out the back of the giant tiger, no one's gonna fuck with you.
Yeah. I mean, like we could get bogged down with combats and random encounters all the time, and it would take like a whole session. And it's like, well, we want to move the story along, you know, and so it's like every encounter I want to make moving towards that. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of furthering the story. Like I think the Naga thing was really great for that. And the guards, you know, that was a great, you know, Redfoot wanted a humanoid fight, so there you go.
That was a fun one.
That was great.
All right, so without further ado,
guys, good night.